and we got Cigar Talk going on today. Our special guest today, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Vince. Goose, man. I didn't know, I got in trouble, man. I didn't know that February only had 28 days. I messed up today. I didn't pay my mortgage. I thought I had an extra day. I said, damn, at least you get 29 days. Goose was like, he was like, you idiot. February ends on the 28th. I said, darn. Anyway, Black History Month, man, that went by very quick. And you got the award for Black History Month. Congratulations, everybody. Put your hands together for Goose. So we're here at 250 Ridge Pike, Limerick, PA 19468. Goose's Cigar Talk. Shout out to Montgomery County. Goose, how do you know this educated, well-looking like entrepreneur? What else? What am I missing, Dre? Cigar maker.
I'm ready to be his bodyguard.
Yeah, buddy. He got a bodyguard already. Yeah, listen, he
ready to be the bodyguard. Yeah, he need a bodyguard as packing. Packing cigars.
Yeah, packing cigars. That's my man. Goose, how do you know Vince, man? And how long has Vince been a member here?
I guess it's over a year. Vince walked into the lounge, introduced himself to me, and we started talking cigars, and he told me about a project that he was working at down in the DR. And by the way, Flo.
Yes.
This is the #1 cigar show in the industry. Right here.
Put your hands together for that.
#1.
Say it again.
The number one. Numero uno. And we only take cigar stars.
That's it.
Right?
You got to be a goat.
Got to be a goat.
Got to be a goat. Greatest of all times. And Vince is definitely the greatest of all time. But listen, I met him yesterday, and Goose, what a great guy, man. What a great guy. Vince is from this area, born and raised. I think he went to Perkiomen Valley High School. So he is homegrown, and he's definitely a goat. We are excited to have him on the Undefeated Goats Goose's Talk podcast show.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Vince, why don't you tell us your background, how you got in the cigar industry?
Wow.
All that good stuff.
So I grew up in the Perkiomen Valley, Collegeville area. Went to high school at Drexel. Came out with a few engineering degrees. And about, 5 years after I graduated, at the time I didn't know it, trying to be an entrepreneur, I opened up a billiards room and failed miserably. Lived on my mother's couch for about 2 years, broke. Got into the tech world, and that's really what my world has been. I own a bunch of tech companies, virtual labor, communications, and I ended up in Bangkok, Thailand, and that's where I really became and truly understood the culture of the cigar industry and being an aficionado. I lived in Bangkok for about 5 years, and I grew up on Cuban cigars. Being in Bangkok, the Marriott Sukhumvit 6 hotel, they had a lobby bar with a pianist. Every day I was there between 5 and 7, sawing off a Cuban cigar. And once I started to understand the true essence of the cigar industry and what cigars do psychologically to me, I mean, I'm 51, I'm pretty high energy at the moment. But you can imagine me 20, 25 years ago, man, I was spinning off the walls. And the cigars really helped me calm down. The smell, just the act, the communication, talking to strangers. It's just an amazing way and fluent way to meet anybody, And in this day and age, it's difficult. Always had a passion for cigars. Fast forward 5 years later, I'm living in the Dominican Republic, which was like heaven relative to the cigar industry. It was a true cigar culture. And I was in the Dominican right after the smoking ban hit Pennsylvania and started sweeping through the U.S. So it was very strange to me to go in, not into a restaurant, but all the balconies and terraces, terrazas as they call them in the DR, where you could just sit down, and if the waiter saw you had a cigar in your hand, they bring out an ashtray. So it was always a passion of mine, being an entrepreneur. And I just said, you know what? I would love to get into the cigar industry, but I'm a disruptor. I like to disrupt industries. I like to change the thought process, just show things from a more simplistic level, and see where it spider webs and takes me. And that's what this project is. I mean, everybody that's viewing this podcast, um, prior to this podcast, there was only about maybe 15 people that ultimately knew the concept and saw any samples of what I was doing.
Cool.
And here we are. You know, I came in yesterday just to say hi, and I met Flo and saw John Goose, and I'm off to Poland tomorrow. But I was like, the hell with it, man. I want to make some time
Thank you.
to introduce myself and help everything out.
Well, you're off to Poland. I hope you book 5 more tickets because we coming with you, brother.
We right behind you.
Bring it.
Coming with you, brother.
Bring it.
My suitcase is in the truck right
Cool.
now.
All right, no
Ready?
worries.
Where you go?
So moving on a little bit, Vince, like, how did you come up? Listen, let me tell you something. Goose has been in the game for a long, long, long time. How long you been in the cigar game, Goose?
1836.
1836. Him and Jesus were. No, I'm only joking. I apologize.
I got an autographed version of the Bible.
There you go. These are some of the best, finest designed boxes
They are.
that the Undefeated Ghost podcast has ever seen. So
Absolutely.
we want to go and congratulate you on that because we ain't never seen no boxes that look like that. That boxes,
Thank you.
absolutely crazy.
Gorgeous.
At this point in time, if you can, Vince, could you stand up in front of there? Just kind of take your time. Don't worry about it. Start from that box to this box to that box, and just tell us everything that you put into it.
Yeah, sure.
When you get a chance, just make sure that you're looking at the camera that way. But take your time. Take your time.
So,
Yep.
you know, being in the Dominican Republic, I really got a flavor for the type of tobacco and everything. Where Dominican tobacco is indicative of a very buttery, nutty flavor. So I wanted, if I was going to make a statement into the industry and cause a little bit of disruption, and I'm not talking like disrespectful disruption. I'm talking about like when you guys saw these boxes, you've been in the industry for how long? Nobody's seen anything like this. Nobody's seen the actual rings that I have. So my original concept was I wanted to show off the flavor of Dominican tobacco. In the middle, I had 2 Dominican Puros. One is with a Criollo wrapper. The other one is with a Havana 2000 wrapper, but all grown in the Dominican. So to start, I wanted to really look at a marketing angle and truly understand and put a game plan together, you know? And being an entrepreneur, I spent a lot of time and effort. You know, I must have smoked about 400 different types of sticks all through COVID. So I took the kind of exact opposite approach during the pandemic, where everybody was kind of pulling back, relaxing, trying to understand what the next step was. That's when I stepped on the gas because I figured that I would pick up a year and a half in blending and trying to conceptualize the new idea and bring it to fruition. So the first thing was my passion, getting into Dominican tobacco. I really wanted to roll cigars where, you know, smokers can really understand and get the flavors. The second thing is, part of my concept was all these major cigar manufacturers, they spend a lot of money and time and effort on the paper labels. I mean, some of them are like little Picassos, right? And I thought it was like blasphemy that when you buy this cigar, regardless of the price, amazing art on the actual label, and what happens at the end of the day? They rip it up and throw it in the ashtray. And to me, that was like senseless, right? So I wanted to do something that I could, whoever smokes my cigars, I don't want them to take all my time and effort and forget about it when they leave. So all of my cigars, they're all metal bands, plated gold with crystals, polished plated gold. I have black anodides with blue crystals. So the beauty of what I've done is number one, it captures everybody's attention. And it also gives everybody a keepsake to take home. And if you have a Vincene and you go home and you're smoking a lot of sticks, not many people are going to throw. They're not going to throw these labels out, or my rings as we call them, in an ashtray. They're going to hold on to them. So every day that they go home, they can see a Vincene ring there. So I'm continually marketing everybody. Some people might like the rings. All of my cigars, they're all Grand Turos. Some people might hold on to the ring and try to find another stick that they like and put the ring on it. I mean, when I first came up with this concept, I was smoking the rings. I had so many people coming up to me and asking me, what is that? Just because of the ring, I had to take it off because I didn't want to give the idea out before I was done with the proof of concept. I had everything ready to roll. And that's a part of the disruption, on my website and everything. Now, the website isn't out fully, but I have a lot of content about, I call it suave disruption. And that's what I'm trying to do. Our brand, I do not hire another large manufacturer to create a blend for me. What you see here has been about a 3-year process, actually a little bit longer. Of which I literally got in and blended all of the sticks myself. I actually tried to reverse engineer the rolling, the way that the tobacco is rolled. That's how passionate I am about the industry and what I wanted to do with the project. So it's really exciting to be here. Like I said, anybody that's viewing this, prior to this podcast, there was only about 15 people that actually saw these boxes, saw the concept, knew it. So, I mean, I've been very tight-lipped about everything. So I'm really happy to show everything off. Hopefully the blends speak for themselves. For myself, I'm a medium. A cigar has to be of medium strength for me. If the cigar's too light, for me it tastes very papery. If it's too strong, my palate goes numb. So I tried to bring out the flavors in medium cigars, and I tried to blend not only to my own palate, which is very difficult. I wanted to make sure that I was able to try to blend for as many palates that are out there, of which was a lot of unknown to me. So, for example, this box here, this is called Honor.
Vince, go ahead and take it up to the screen. You'll see it. Just go to the camera. You'll see which one. Yeah, brother.
So,
give them a close up. A little bit closer, Vince. A little bit closer. Yeah, so they can smell it.
So this is called Honor. This is a Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and Dominican filler. The reason, some of the flavor notes in this, I've been getting a lot of comments about a little bit of white pepper, apricot, and a little bit of buttery. Moving on to the two in the middle, these are Dominican Puros. I have the Gold Standard V for Vincene, and I have the Palladium V for Vincene. The Gold Standard is a Criollo wrapper with a Dominican local binder and all Dominican filler. It's very nutty, very buttery. You have the Palladium V, that's a Havana 2000. Some people, purists might say it may not necessarily be a Puro because it's a Cuban seed, which almost everybody has Cuban seeds planted indigenously, whether it's Dominican or Nicaragua. The Palladium V is more for cigar smokers that like more of an oaky, spicy. There's a little hint of cherry in there. For myself, I never said that there was cherry in them, but maybe the last 15, 20 people that have smoked them, their profiles seem to pick up a little bit of cherry notes in there. That's the beauty of this industry. Everybody the flavors of the cigars change drastically between the person. And that's why everything is so versatile. This is called War. These are black King's crown rings with blue crystals. This has Dominican filler, a Nicaraguan binder, and an Ecuadorian Cameroon wrapper. I love the color of it. This is also a little peppery, a little bit of like bitter chocolate. I myself personally, I get a little bit of cherry notes in here. So I tried to make sure that I tried to encompass as many palettes as I could. All the cigars are Grand Toro, simply because the blending, one of the biggest misconceptions in this industry is thinking that the blending and the construction of the cigars are easy. It's not that easy. I mean, it took me about a year with me and my team to finally get it to where we wanted to go. And the construction, the way that the leaf is rolled, everything, you can have the same amount of tobacco. The roll of the leaf has the ability to change the flavor. It is crazy complicated. And here it is, man. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to start showing the world what we have. Everything is a very exclusive edition. I'm not interested in mass production. We're trying to fill a space in the more of the ultra high end luxury market, and that's where we are at the moment. So, thank you.
Put your hands together for my man Vin. That's what I'm talking about, man. So Larry, he took a lot of thought into this, man. This wasn't an overnight scenario where he just came up with it from the rings to the different types of boxes and the whole concept and the different flavors. That takes a lot of thought. I mean,
I like the rings.
You like the rings?
The rings remind me of Macanudo vintage.
Yes.
1997.
What's the name of the blend that's at Lighted Up Cigars, and it has the little
ribbons,
the ribbons,
which is
and some people take the ribbons off and they wear them as rings as they're smoking it, and then they throw it away.
Cigars.
So it does have that type of feel to it, whereas people could go and
that's something you won't throw away.
Right, you won't throw away at all. Do you keep all the rings when you smoke those?
I do, and then even with the Macanudos, I mean, I see people put the rings on their finger,
right,
because they like it. They don't ball it up. I mean, actually, I have a couple of them at home.
Okay.
You got to be careful though. If you smoke one of these and put on your finger, I don't know if your wife might approve.
Well,
she may not know it came from a cigar. That's the problem.
Please don't try it. Dre,
Hey, man.
what do you think about the whole concept of Vince? Man, he put a lot of thought into this. I think that the whole concept, Goose and I was conversing before his talk show had started, man. He just put a lot of thought into it. I think that the designs, along with the whole passion and everything, he has that type of big energy and big, like you. You know what I mean? You know how you go. Everything you do is it can't be down here. It got to be up here.
Go big
I mean,
or go home.
he's just a great dude, man. He's just a great dude, very passionate about it, like you. A big shout out to Andre the Giant. He's one of the best aficionados. He is a cigar connoisseur, and he's one of the best DJs in the East Coast. What do you think about the whole concept?
So I had the gold standard last night.
Okay.
I was impressed with the cigar. Nice smoke, nice blend of flavor.
It was smooth. You kept saying that.
I needed another one.
So we went to Light It Up last night. Shout out to Light It Up. Shout out to
Light It
Clifton
Up.
Heights.
Clifton Heights, Delaware County.
So we went last night and we pulled out two of yours, and Dre kept on saying, this is smooth. This is smooth.
Excellent.
I didn't tell him that we was going to be meeting you today.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Very
meeting
cool.
you.
Very cool.
So we got a chance and opportunity to blow on a couple of your cigars, and really, really enjoy it, man. And it's a pleasure having you here today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You know, moving forward or whatever the case may be.
I really feel the passion here, man. I mean, look, these boxes are sexy, man.
They sexy.
They
They're
are.
sexy. I need them
Like
all.
I'm not. Now you want to take all the boxes? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You want to shut that out?
Shouts out to the
You
penthouse.
went right now. You went-
Take these boxes to the penthouse.
yeah.
I gotta smoke every last one of these today.
Today.
Yeah, it's like, force it.
That's what I'm talking about. Let me ask you this, Vince. What's next, man? What's next? You got a chance and opportunity to come up here yesterday.
Yeah.
Goose and myself, along with Dre, got a chance to go and smoke your cigars. They're very smooth. It's a different taste. It's a different palate because it's a lot. It's a lot coming in. It's,
Yeah, on air.
Every time you go and you inhale, you might get a different flavor. So it switches up on you. So there's times where you can be like, ooh, this is good, and oh, that's different. Or maybe you might hit a pepper and it knocks you off guard a little bit. But that's the great thing when it comes to different blends.
Yeah,
you know
of
what I mean?
course.
That's blended cigars, whatever the case may be. So let me ask you this, Vince. What's next, man? We understand like all the hard work and stuff you put in, and I'm telling you right now, if you own a cigar lounge and you're in Philly, Jersey, Delaware, especially up in New York, especially up Dominican Republic, because we want to come down and visit you in the Dominican Republic, and at any cigar lounge, man, hit him up right now. You see it up on the screen. It says www.vinceneblends.com. Hit him up, man, and tell him that you want the cigars at your location right now. And I'm sure Vince, listen, he'll go along with Andre, his security guard. New bodyguard. New bodyguard. We'll show up there. Hopefully, we'll go and we'll kidnap Goose. I'll definitely bring Larry with, because he's the only one that probably has an active. What kind of car do you travel with?
235.
Okay. So make sure you hit him up, man, and get his cigars inside of your lounges today. That's the reason why he is a GOAT. He's on the Undefeated Goats podcast. And remember, guys, if you're on the Undefeated Goats podcast, it is legit. It is 100% proof. It is amazing. So, Vince, what's your next step? Let's say 1 year. 1 year from today. 1 year from 28 days in February, which I messed up. Where do you see yourself 1 year from today? What were you like all of these great cigars? Are you coming up with any different flavors, more flavors, any different boxes, any different concepts? Go.
So where am I going from today? I'm just trying to absorb everything, right? I'm a very focused person. So for the first couple years, I was just focused on tobacco, blending, rolling, trying new techniques. I always had the idea for the concept. Then the concept kind of comes after the fact, because I was like, okay, I want to make sure I have really good, high quality cigars. Now it's a matter of just gathering information. My intent was not to go into mass production of like hundreds of thousands of cigars per month or even year. At the moment, we're happy with 20, 30,000 cigars a year. If it does increase, it'll increase slowly, because one of the things that I wanted to make sure is that we keep track of the quality of the tobacco. One of the things we do is we pretty much weigh all the tobacco prior to rolling them. So all of the cigars you see here, they're within about 0.25 to 0.3 grams per cigar. And I wanted to make sure that we had that consistent airflow. So going from here, I wish I had a plan. Now it's about gathering as much information as I can, getting the concept, the boxes, have everybody try to smoke them, and then figure out where the consumer is going to take this brand, right? I can't force this, especially with cigars, you can't force this anywhere. So really it's up to the consumer. I picked a target of where I want it to be. Now it's up to the consumer on the demographic of the consumer, the location, geography, everything. So now it's just a matter of trying to meet and greet people as best as I can and just see where it takes everybody.
How did you come up with the different blends that you wanted in each 4 separate cigars? Like, what made you think of that different type of blend that would fit certain people's palates in order to go to want to buy and purchase your cigars?
Sure. So one of the aspects of flavors that enamored me with Dominican tobacco is just how buttery it is and nutty it is, right? However, one of my pet peeves is I personally don't like when cigars are fully packed. I think it takes away from the true flavor, because you really need air to accentuate the flavor, Right. So I started with the Gold Standard V, and we blended that cigar in 0.5 gram increments. We left it age, and I wanted to see how a 0.5 gram, if nobody knows, a 0.5 gram is a little bit less than the size of my palm. And you might think it's crazy, but that 0.5 gram makes a tremendous amount of difference on everything. So once I was able to finalize the first Dominican Puro, I had the concept of our Precious Blends line, symbolism with indigenous tobacco versus gold because they're pure, and then palladium. So for the second Dominican Puro, I started testing different wrappers, different binders and everything. And I was like, oh, wow, this is I never realized how complicated it was, years ago. So I made the Palladium V. That's more of, I would say more of a purist, more woody, oaky. That for me was probably my least favorite of the four. But I also was getting a tremendous amount of feedback when I would bring those cigars back to the US, where I liked the Gold Standard and everybody liked the Palladium. In the H2000, I was like, all right, well, you know what? I'm not just doing this for myself. I got to do it for everybody.
Right.
And then once I had the 2 Dominican Puros done, I said, there's a lot of focus on Nicaragua, black pepper. That's probably consistently what Nicaraguan tobacco is known for, if there was one flavor. However, I didn't want to make the black pepper too overpowering, right? So that's when we came up with a blend. So in Spanish, they call it the El Puño, which is basically the filler and binder. So we would literally blend with different empuños, and we would smoke them without any wrapper to see how everything binded together and everything. And then I would get 20, 30 different wrappers and roll little cigarillos. And I would just sit there one day and smoke them all, like staggering out 4 or 5 hours later, all smoked up. And then, once you're into blending, I look at it, it's like being a chef. You can have a bowl of like penne Alfredo, and if you put maybe garlic salt or some other type of salt on there, it really accentuates different aspects of the cigar. So the Cameroon was next, and the Cameroon, I wish I could say I was intelligent enough to have the knowledge to blend that. That was our first go, and everything bound together from a flavor perspective. And it was phenomenal. And then on the Honor, which is the Connecticut, there's a tremendous amount of Connecticut smokers and lovers out there. Prior to me making this blend, I wasn't a big fan of the Connecticut wrapper because all the Connecticut wrappers taste very paperish to me. My palate, I couldn't get those I guess lower level notes. So I wanted to make sure that I could get the essence of the Connecticut, like a little bit of vanilla. Now I'm coming to find out, and this is still kind of unknown territory for me, the way the flavors are changing. So I wanted to blend the Connecticut to get a little bit of that vanilla, a little bit of the butter undernotes with the Dominican tobacco. And I also used a Nicaraguan binder to get a little bit of pepper. And it just so happens the way that flavor bound together, everybody that's been smoking those have been telling me that they're getting a little bit of white pepper, a little bit of apricot. One Cuban connoisseur I gave the cigar to, he thought it was very Cubanesque because he got a little bit of like a hay out of it. And Cuban cigars are very consistent with like hay, a little bit of white pepper and things like that. So, I have given these cigars out to master level wine somms, executive chefs, as many cigar connoisseurs as I could find. And the feedback has been phenomenal. I'm not naive to think that some people may not like it. Everybody has their own palate. But I think that hopefully I blended these 4 cigars to try to encompass the core of what everybody's looking for, no matter what cigar everybody smokes.
Well, certainly, you're looking at 2 retailers right here, and
Yes.
I'm sure Larry has the same checklist as I have. And the first thing when someone comes in, I'm looking for a good story, and certainly you have a good story. Number 2, I'm looking at how you're going to support the brand.
Correct.
Are you going to have events? Are you going to support us with different areas of having or specifics of taking care of the people at the event?
Sure.
Certainly, you're aiming here at the higher demographic. You're not aiming at the frontier smoker who's a cheroot smoker or mass market cigar smoker. You're looking at somebody who's going to spend $30, $35 on a stick.
Correct.
So you better have a high-end event.
Correct.
You better have a bartender like Kitty like Kitty here.
Shout out to Kitty on top.
She's a great gal, great bartender, and you send out special invitations to people for an event like this. And it's nice that you only have 10 cigars to a box, because that brings the retail price point down a little bit. You know, you're not having 20 or 30 cigars in here at that price point. So you have all the right, but you plan on using brokers, or are you going to represent the brand yourself? Or
like I said, for the first 2 years, I was totally focused on blends and tobacco.
right.
I had the marketing concept, waving over me. I had the distribution waving over me.
Right.
Now that I knocked down the blends, I knocked down the marketing. Now it's time for me to pinpoint on distribution, getting
Right.
word of mouth out there.
Right.
I would be lying to you if I told you I had a plan.
Okay.
But now this is where my intensity is going to be, trying to figure out, where to go, who to contact. So right now it's a green playing field, and that's what I love. Entrepreneurs love green playing fields.
Right.
And that's, I've thought about hiring full-time staff to just travel the country and get the word out. Right.
Right.
I thought about social media. Being in the tech world, I'm not a big social media guy. Right. I mean, there's a lot of positive aspects to it. There's a lot of negative aspects to it.
Right.
So one of my thought processes is just going old school, word of mouth, just creating a network. I'm not a virtual person. I want to fly. I want to meet people. I want to shake their hand. I want to have a drink with them. I want to look in their eyes.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing at? Let
Why?
him finish. Yeah.
No, because I'm wait.
Okay.
I'm wait.
All right.
I'm gonna wait.
And so
He's a tech guy. I'm a tech guy. So
Oh, two
Yeah,
tech guys just talking tech.
See,
Listen,
Tech by tech. Shout out to Tech by Tech.
I have
tech by tech.
I have a Facebook page for Vincene, a personal Facebook page that all I did is sign up, and I think I have like 900 friend requests that I don't even respond to. Right? I have an Instagram page. I haven't even started with it. The website is in the process of being finalized. For example, we have our website is hooked into the Ethereum blockchain for copyright reasons, which is huge. So I'm using a little bit of tech on the back end, but my life has been tech. My companies run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and it gets exhausting. I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't have phenomenal executives and everybody handling stuff. I tried to retire 15, 18 years ago, and I had panic attacks. And the old adage is 2 things happen to men when they retire: either die or go back to work. Right?
I chose to go back to work.
Yeah, of course.
Good choice.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Goose.
So I'm not interested in going full bore on social media. Am I going to be on social media? Probably, but it's going to be at the lowest possible scale. Simply because the thing I don't like about social media is I don't mind constructive criticism, but social media brings too much negativity. I'm not a negative guy, So if you don't like a cigar, tell me, Vince, construction looked good, concept looked good, but the cigar isn't my palate. And I'm going to say, okay, why? Like, tell me how you want me to change it, right? And if I continually get requests for a certain type of cigar, then I'll make another one. The only complaint that I have gotten from not a lot of people, maybe like 30, 40% of the people that I've been talking about price point, is they said, Vince, I've had a couple people say, I like stronger cigars. And that's cool. These are not for guys that like strong cigars. Right. The other aspect is, well, it's out of my price range. I can't smoke them every day. And my answer to them is, I don't want you to smoke them every day. I want you to smoke them once a month, once every 2 weeks, once every 2 months. I'm not trying to mass produce these and just get hundreds of thousands of them out. My game plan was to fill a certain niche in the high end market that I think I can fill. And that's where we are.
That's what tech guys do. See, tech guys.
Why are you talking to me? I ain't say nothing. You got to pick on me. I didn't say nothing. Talk to Vince. Vince is right there. And the camera's up front.
Tech guys gather data, We
Yes.
gather data and we use that data to make money. That's what we do. That's what tech guys do. We gather data to make money. Hey, buddy.
Well said.
So,
Well said.
me and Flo, DJ Flo, Andre the Giant, we, during our careers on the radio, we had over 90 million listeners.
How many?
Did I say 90?
90 million.
90 million listeners.
Wow.
During our time. And
That's
a lot
every
of our
night.
listeners
That's every night.
smoke cigars.
Yeah, amazing.
This presentation, the cigar itself, I mean, the rings from, I don't know, the box that it came in, it all looks good. This is awesome. And yes, it's a high-end cigar.
And I know 2 cigar owners, Goose, along with Larry, that always welcomed you and I to ever come and do a podcast, DJ,
Hey,
sing, smoke, hang out, whatever the case may be. So could you explain to Vince how he met the right people at the right time?
you met the right
Big
people.
shout out to big shout out to Just Ice. We call him Just Ice. His name is Justin. Justin is an unbelievable producer, and Justin is unbelievable. Listen, Vince, when you get your listen, everybody put your hands together for Justin. Vince, when you get the videos after this podcast, you're going to say, I'll let Goose say, you're going to say, holy shucks.
Cool.
Wow.
Yep.
I didn't know what to expect. These guys are very on point. We ask the right questions. We support the right product. And when you walked in the other day, and I seen your Bentleys, you don't act like I ain't see the Black Jesus. I seen the Bentley, and it was Goose. You didn't see it. It was all freshly waxed and washed. You know what I mean? Rims was shining and stuff like that. So I walked in the cigar lounge like, yo, who stole my car? You know what I mean? That's how I walked in. Like, who stole my car? Today you pulled up in the Porsche. I seen the Porsche. It was doo-doo brown Porsche.
Yeah.
I seen the. Is that yours too? Or is that's my
That's
man?
mine. Yeah.
That's yours. Say it again. Say that's
Yeah,
mine.
it's mine.
That's mine. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. So with that being said, you got 2 of the best DJs, along with Goose, along with Larry, and then we have Just Ice. We are 100% in when it comes to social media. Social media, you have a chance and opportunity, along with this podcast. Shout out to Undefeated Goats, to get millions and millions and millions of listeners and followers to go and support your brand.
Yeah.
And trust me, the fact that go ahead and put it up on the screen again. Put his contact information. Yeah, there it is. You see it? When people see that, and you check later on the night. Tonight you're gonna be sleeping. Shout out to your girl, fiance. Is it fiance?
Fiance,
girl?
yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to her. What's her name?
Abelisa.
All right, shout out to her.
Abelisa.
Shout out to her. I'm sure she'll be watching. But what happens is it's a ripple effect.
Vincene Blends.
Yeah, it's a ripple effect. People will be like, yo, did you check out? Yeah, my man, where's he from? Yeah, I'd like to check. I'm telling you, Larry, explain to him how people, even from Lighted Up Cigars, whether they're members here, right here at Goose and Cigar Lounge, whether you're from Pottstown, whether you're from West Philly, but South Philly. There you go. I was going to say another place in North Philly, but that's okay.
North Philly.
People are going to want to try it. They're going to come after you, and they're going to be like, "Yo, how can I go and get your cigars into my stores and my location?" We are big advocates of social media.
Sure.
I'm gonna tell you a quick story. 2019, about December, I walked in. I just got a house built, not even 100 yards from here. I walked in just looking to buy a cigar. A big 6'4" young guy. 18, 19. How old were you?
At the time.
About 19. He was about 19. 18.
18.
So Goose was like, "Hey, you look like, you play ball." I said, "Yeah, I play ball. I'm an all-time leading scorer, such and such. I'm blah, 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 blah." It's like, "Yeah, okay, all right." And we were talking. We were conversing, Vince. We were going back and forth.
Cool.
I hit that Andre the Giant stuff, just like he hit with you. I said, "Listen, I used to do Power 99. I had the #1 show for 10 years as a DJ.
Yep.
Andre has the #1 show for 30 years.
Wow,
on
amazing.
WDAS.
Yeah, very
If
cool.
you don't believe me, guys, Google us. Google us. Google DJ Flow. Here we go. And Andre the Giant.
Here we go.
Google the Hot Boys along with Patty Jackson at WDAS.
Well, you got to put butter by it.
Yeah. Oh, Butter. Shout out to Butter. Rest in peace, Butter. Butterball. Right. So we're going back and forth, Vince, and this is how we really get into cigar talk. This is very interesting. Goose says to me, he says, "Listen, you look like you're go-getter type guy." I said, "I absolutely am." He said, "Listen, if I go and I build a studio. I'm gonna have. He said, you have 4 carte blanche flow. He said, I'm gonna have monitors. I'm gonna have mics. I'm gonna have everything.
Yeah,
Whatever
this is
you
impressive.
need. I'm gonna have lights. I'm gonna have whatever you need. I was like, listen. I said, you listen. You build a Goose, I'll be there. 3 weeks later, he gives me a call. He says, hey, Flo, what you doing? I said, I'm chilling, because it was COVID. It wasn't nothing to do.
Yeah.
Wasn't nothing to do. Vince, I show up. He has all this stuff here. He got lights, more lights.
Amazing.
He has, look over there. He has boards.
Yeah,
he got computers. He has laptops.
I didn't know what I was walking
Right.
into when I
He
walked
had-
in. I was like,
he
what
had
the?
it all. So what I'm saying to you, sir, is Goose seen the vision way before I did. He knows that when it comes to cigars, when it comes to virtual lounges, when it comes to advertisement, a lot of times people don't go on the radio station now and put $1,500 a week times 4 times
understood.
13 months.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money, right? You're taking a chance. But when you get right to the boogie, what I mean by that is when you go and you turn this mic on and you go face to face along with 3 different screens, along with 4 different cameras, and you're talking to the people, hey, now we're live. You got people all over the world checking us out. Trust me, you're going to see it. You're going to see it. You're going to see people. They're going to ask him about Vince. Yo, how can I get with Vince and how can I do it?
Sure.
So that is the new future. Goose has seen it back 2.5 years ago. He's seen it. He understands. Because of the podcast, it really took Undefeated Goats along with Goose's Lounge to a whole nother level. Everybody watches the podcast. He has over maybe 60 members. We're going to have more virtual members. Larry, along with Light It Up, he has some unbelievable members that are down there. Larry just went to 24 hours. Now they got 24-hour lounge right in Clifton Heights. So if you guys are interested in the lounge in the middle of the night, if you have a fat girlfriend or a wife that snores, you can get up. You know what I mean? Because she ain't going to wake up.
I've heard that before.
You know what I mean? You can get up. You can go to Light It Up. It's 24 hours.
My wife
Get you. Hey, Miss Joanne. I know you don't snore, Joanne. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
She don't snore.
Hey, how's everything going? Good. But my whole point of where I'm getting to is the fact that social media to us is going to be the new way to go and do it. And the fact that you took the chance and opportunity the next day in order to go because you believed in your brand.
Yeah.
I believe in your Black Jesus, your Bentley. I believe in the Porsche, the Doodle Brown Porsche. I believe in the 4 different cigars that you have here. I love the rings. And I think that your company is going to do great things, starting right here with
Awesome. I appreciate that.
Larry, did you have any other concerns or questions or ideas for Vince moving forward?
Not at this time.
Not at this time.
Not at this time.
Are you impressed with the product that he has? He put a lot of thought into this.
I love this black box.
You do?
This black box is fine.
I didn't claim it.
What if he had a little orange
I already
label on that
claimed
joint?
I
Doesn't
claimed
have
them
to be
all.
orange.
Okay. Shout out to Virginia State.
Virginia.
CIAAs was this weekend. Shout out to Big Daddy Kane. You know who Big Daddy Kane is?
No.
Okay. Do you know who Charles Oakley is?
Yes.
Okay. All right. But shout out to those 2. We had a great time in the CIAAs in Baltimore. Andre DeJohn, along with myself, DJ down there. Justin was with us, so he was down there having a good time. It was the first year that Baltimore had the CIAAs because it used to be in Charlotte. I was a little disappointed because Virginia State wasn't there, but they'll be there again next year. Hopefully they'll be there next year. Because you are the vice. Are you the vice president or the president
Vice President of Philly chapter.
of the Philly chapter for Virginia State?
Virginia State
So
University.
you dictate alumni association.
Right.
So you dictate when and how y'all move in the events that you
In
guys do.
Philly, yes.
In Philly.
In Philly.
Okay. All right. So you can get people from Virginia State along with people from Light It Up to go and try the cigar.
Yes.
And whenever he comes to Poland,
Yeah, I'm in Poland for the next week.
we
Cool.
Yeah.
It's
Andre
cold.
the
We,
Giant.
I'm
It's
scared. We
I
got
hear
boots. We got polo gloves and hatties and hoods.
We
We
can
get
jump
on
in
the
that.
jet.
Yeah, we.
Jet.
I know you got a private jet.
No, he do.
You know, there's no way that he's flying commercial. There's no way he's sitting next to an exit seat.
No.
Don't even sit there and lie to us. Don't sit there and lie to us, brother.
No.
Huh? Not with those boxes. There ain't no way.
No way.
You know he is.
He's a tech guy.
He's a tech guy. Tech Fight. Shout out to Tech Fight, Tech Stevens Tech. What's going on with you? Hey, how you doing, Doctor? Yeah. But listen, can we set up a night that me and Andre is at your spot and Light It Up? Vince is gonna come through with his boxes, and we're gonna do like a smoke test or whatever.
Cut the night.
A cut night. We could do that.
Yep.
See how easy it is. See,
Cool.
that's what I'm saying. So we'll do maybe a buy one get one.
Yeah.
Does that sound buy one get one?
Yeah.
That's everyone's saying yeah that quick. That was that easy. I should have negotiated this a little better.
Yeah.
So
Why don't we get one?
we got some events coming up,
We do got some events coming up.
and we can talk about
We will. I'm gonna let you plug it as soon as Goose asks his question. Did you have anything to say since you two tech guys, got along since the beginning?
We're Jedi.
It's in the back. It's in the back.
I know where it is. I'm going to go stop at the mall, get some clothes, winter clothes. We're going to
Order clothes. We going. You with us? Is wifey coming with us? Or is there a way you can get away? We going.
I can go anywhere I want.
Goose, Goose. I didn't say that. I'm not getting. Listen, you're not getting me involved with your shenanigans.
I'm glad I turned all the lights off at the penthouse.
We going. Goose.
He's glow in the dark.
Did you have any other questions for my man Vince?
No, I have to apologize to Larry because
Okay,
I told what I look in as a new vendor, someone that walks in the door and is selling a new line. What is your criteria when someone walks in with a new line? I'm not talking about Vincente, just a new line. Just a new line. What are you looking for?
To help Vince out.
What I'm looking for is quality of the cigar, the taste of the cigar, and if my members will buy the cigar. I mean, those are the people who are there every day, and look for them. I say, hey, can I get a couple of sticks? Let my members try it. If they like it, they will buy it.
You want to try one right now? Would you like to try one?
Of course.
All right. Can you please? Us two, would you like to try?
Of course.
You already smoked one. Would you like to try? Could you please hand us your best cigar? We're going to light up right now.
My best is it's your flavor palette.
I think I'm gonna try the black box joint.
I think I want the black box.
I think I want to try the black box one.
Let's try the black box.
Yeah. Go ahead, Larry. Larry can start.
I got the crow. Very buttery.
Buttery. All the names you call me, buttery, nutty.
I'm all
I
over.
call you smooth.
But I like the black box.
You got to put the
best.
ring on. You got to put the ring.
You got to put the ring on.
I love this.
I'm getting married.
I'm getting married to my cigar.
I'm wearing the ring. Anybody need a cutter? You need a cutter? You all right?
I already have a ring, but it matches.
Shout out to Wifey too.
Shout out to Christina.
Christina, we wish you were here.
Shout out to the single life.
Yeah, I like the idea of the rings. So many times you get fans on cigars and they put too much glue on them, right,
Yes.
Larry?
Definitely.
And it tears away the outer leaf. With this, you don't have to worry about that.
This is real smooth.
That's why now I carry pectin with me.
Thank you.
Carry,
Pectin,
what is that?
the cigar glue.
Oh, okay.
Carry that with me now.
Okay.
So we put a lot of effort to make sure that the draw is effortless.
Yeah.
And that's where when I meet my own personal preference is when I light up a cigar. If it's really packed and really hard to draw, I can't get my head around the flavors or anything because I get frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the reasons why I spent so much time looking at different types of rolls, amount of tobacco and everything. And it was difficult, but I'm really excited about what we've accomplished.
Yes, you're right.
After smoking the gold standard last night, and we're talking here today, I understand your passion and the blends of the flavors that you're trying to go with the
Sure.
cigar. And I understand why it's a high-end cigar now.
Yeah.
I like this.
For everybody that doesn't understand the way blending works. So I'm just going to speak on behalf of what, again, tech guy data,
Yep.
right? So
Right away.
when we first started blending these cigars, every cigar that you see here, I've smoked from day one all the way up until this point today. And cigars, typically the first 8-9 weeks, they go through a phase. I don't know if I've heard this phase or I made it up. So it's called a sick phase. And what happens is the flavor one day a week, like maybe if the cigar's rolled a week later, you smoke it, it will be phenomenal. Then 3 days later, you're scratching your head going, what the hell just happened to this thing? That was the hardest part for me until I actually had to learn the process, because being a tech guy, I have no patience, you know? So what I have seen in the tobacco process is that sick phase typically ends about 8 to 9 weeks. And then the flavor winds up being consistent, and then you can start seeing the effects of the tobacco aging and binding together. Where the real tobacco aging is experienced is, I call it the viscosity of the smoke coming off your palate, especially if you retrohale. In order to get the full flavor of these cigars, you have to retrohale. It's a medium cigar. 80-90% of your senses and flavor with tobacco is through the retrohale. What I do is I'll take a draw, I'll blow out maybe 80-90% from my mouth, and I'll retrohale the last 5-10%. If you try to retrohale everything, especially with newer tobacco, it'll burn like hell. Right. The longer tobacco ages, the smoother it gets, and you have the ability where you can literally feel the creaminess or less viscosity or higher viscosity coming off your palate. Where these cigars, where we've seen where the tobacco together rolled has really come to flavor, is about 8 to 9 months.
Nice.
Now I saw something on a post from a friend of mine the other day, and he took a picture of a bale of tobacco.
Yeah.
And he said that this tobacco was from World War II,
It's a different,
like 1943.
flavor.
Do you believe that?
Like 5 or 6 puffs.
I don't. It's possible, right? But I think the biggest misconception in the cigar industry is that all aged tobacco is phenomenal. I think that it's kind of like, tobacco is organic, right? We're organic. We don't understand why some people age. They might be 60, 70, 80 years old and look 20. We don't know why somebody might be 30, 35 and looks 50 or 60, right? I think tobacco and the way it binds through the aging process is very similar. I've had some Cubans that have been aged 15, 20 years, worth a lot of money. And it tasted like I was smoking a piece of like cardboard box rolled up, right? I've had other cigars that have been aged for 6 years, 7 years, and are absolutely phenomenal. I was just talking to somebody, I was in an event, and I was talking to somebody about aged tobacco, and he's like, Vince, you're 100% right. He goes, I've been aging a lot of high-end cigars for 10, 15 years. I wish I would have smoked them 10 years ago, because I just started opening them up, and I'm like, oh my God, what happened to them, right? So that's still kind of an unknown. Obviously, we're a new brand. Aging tobacco 6, 7, 8, 9 years is still an unknown to me. But I really believe that tobacco manufacturers really need to understand the flavor and aging profile. And I think relative to COVID and the pandemic and the absolute ridiculous demand of tobacco and the rolling, I think that's starting to be a lost art. That's my opinion. I could be totally wrong. And that's one of the reasons why I put my foot on the gas when COVID happened, because I said, you know what, I'm going to use this opportunity while everybody else is kind of going in a coma, sitting back. All the cigar manufacturers, they lost 50, 60, 70% of their manufacturing for people staying at home. We had a 3-4 man crew. I was stuck in the US for 4 months until the restrictions were lifted in Dominican, and I went to Dominican and foot was on the gas since then. So that's why I've gotten so deep into the construction and making sure that every one of these cigars, you're not going to get a cigar that's plugged. You're not going to get a cigar that's too hard of a draw. And it's been an incredible balancing act between getting the right draw and having the necessary construction. And that's been the hardest thing for us to overcome. And
I admire your your research into what you're doing and the product that you're releasing. I was down in Florida one time at a what is now a Casa de Monte Cristo in Boca Raton.
Yeah.
At the time, it was not. I'm sitting at the bar with several premium tobacco executives, and a guy sitting to the right of me takes out his, what is it, the Black American Express card, and he purchases a box of 20 His Majesty Reserves, the Gurkha,
Okay.
$1,500 a piece, $30,000. $30,000 this guy bought on cigars. So there is a niche. There is a clientele out there for that type of cigar. Now, His Majesty Reserve, I smoked one. I consulted for Kaizad and Jim Colucci with Gurkha for a year.
Okay.
And his Kaizad with Gurkha cigars, his boxes rival your boxes. They're not as nice. They're not as well designed, but they are great.
Yeah.
The boxes that Kaizad has produced for Gurkha now through the years have been really top notch. Again, the criticism was that the cigars in the box weren't as good as the design of the box, which I felt wasn't a fair assessment.
Sure.
He had excellent cigars in those boxes. So I wish you all the luck in the world. We have an event here. We want to have certainly a high-end event, and Larry, I'm sure, will have the same thing. You got to attract people that are willing to spend and have a presentation that's first class.
Sure. Understood.
First class.
Yeah, understood.
So,
Yeah.
so Goose, I was thinking, so we up here, we're talking about the cigars. We're talking about the rings,
Right.
but the cases that comes with the cigars, they're like the Louis Vuitton Versace
Yeah.
cases
Yeah, that's your
of
style.
cigar. That's my style.
Right.
It has hinges, screws, not nails, screws. So can you tell us about how did you come up with the design
Sure.
for the cigars?
So,
Boxes.
the boxes.
Can I ask a question real
Yeah.
quick before you come up with that, Greg?
Sure.
I got big hands. I got basketball hands. I put this on my wedding ring finger because one day, I'm gonna lock it in and get married. How the hell, Andre the Giant, you get your fat fingers in your pinky joint? Like,
Yeah, so-
how
so
big?
my-
How big is your? Like, I don't understand. Do you bowl too?
I can't even.
I know you can't even put it on your finger. You got that.
It's
You
tough,
got
man, it's tough.
them fat.
That's why I'm his body.
DJ.
I
You pack a punch. That's what you.
I pack a punch.
I pack a punch. All right. All right. I apologize, man. He always starting his stuff, man. Every time we got a podcast, he got something smart to say. You know what I mean? Everybody else got it on their ring finger. He gonna put it on his pinky finger like he a player. He ain't no player. I mean, he is a player, but he ain't basketball. Not smooth player like.
It's loose on my thumb.
That's what I'm saying. You can't even put it on your fingers, can you?
No.
This guy puts it on his pinky. It don't even fit on my pinky.
That's why you got new security
All right, understand. That's why we're going to Poland.
right now.
Me, you, and Larry.
Yeah, we got to stop at the store.
All right. Justin just went back to work. He can't take off no more, so it's just
We going into the Vincene Jet.
we going. You think we playing? He gonna pull up and like, look at these mother. Are they out there waiting? You're like, hey, Vince, remember us? You're just on the podcast. I apologize.
No,
Go
it's
ahead,
cool.
man.
So the
All right.
boxes. So the rings, the idea of the rings and the samples of the rings that I made before the boxes. I've always had that idea. And then I said, wow, man, I really got to make great looking boxes. And my idea was simple is better. A lot of times, especially in this day and age, everybody makes things too complicated, right? So I wanted to go with a more traditional square box, but I figured that the accents of the box would really bring out the simplicity and the glamour of it. You know, I had the idea of the medallions that were in the middle.
Could you pause for one more second?
Yeah, sure.
Don't stop your thought.
Sure.
Justin, go out and get a regular box, please. Can you go out to the front and just pick out the plain most regular? Don't be disrespectful. Make sure no one's name's on there. All right, go ahead, finish. I apologize.
So no, that's cool. So I wanted to make a simple box and make the accents elevated, like make it look glamorous, you know? So the first thing was, I want to make sure that it has a mirror finish. These boxes have 13 layers of clear coat. Once I got the boxes done and the concept, I wanted to make sure that I had the font in a more elegant motif. I wanted to make sure that everything was simple. You know, another criticism I have, a personal criticism, I don't mean any disrespect, but I think today a lot of the cigar names and everything, they're so complicated, I can't remember any of them.
Right.
Like, I'm in the cigar industry, I probably know the least about any names of the industry. People talk to me about cigars all the time. I just shake my head because I don't remember the names. So it slowly started to build. I said, all right, I have to look at the hinges. I looked at hinges through every industry. And that's part of bringing a fresh perspective. I didn't stay within the cigar industry. You know, it was just a fresh perspective. The thing I love the best about the boxes, two things, is I love the corner feet. They're gold on the white boxes, and on the black box, just to keep up with the decor, they're black feet, you know? And then also the little clasp in the middle. Then one of the biggest problems that I was worried about was if the lacquer of the boxes isn't cured properly and air aged, I was afraid that the scent of the chemical scent of the lacquer would be absorbed by the tobacco. So that's why we put it's 2 millimeter or 3 millimeter of Spanish cedar all over the inside of the box. Simply because I wanted to make sure that when you open the boxes, you get hit with that cedar smell. And then I needed a really good placeholder, and that's where we were able to make. I forget the name of them. They're a strange name. They actually come from the jewelry industry. So I designed them to fit the bands, to fit the ring bands and everything, so they fit in there nice. But everything's designed down to millimeters of tolerance. Even the cigars, if you look at the rings, we may have 1 out of 20 cigars that the ring is either a little bit too small or a little bit too large. That's where we've actually had the cigars, the way that we press the cigars and the amount of time, I needed to make sure that they would fit perfectly with the rings. And we're only producing, a normal cigar manufacturer produces plus or minus maybe 275, 300 cigars a day per team. We're only rolling about 120 cigars a day.
So you're not just getting cigars, you're getting a humidor.
Yeah.
This is a humidor.
Yep.
Yeah, so the other thing that I've been thinking about is I've been thinking about getting a clear, for the white box, is either a white or clear, like 1 millimeter silicone gasket, and a black over there that it's not stuck on there, but it's just there. So when you close it, it's airtight.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, I just got a call from my little wifey, and we have a date night, as Flo well knows, on Tuesday night.
Oh yeah.
But we'd like to have you back many times.
Yeah, great.
Godspeed.
Thank you so
Safe
much.
trip tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
And you can, if it's okay with you and Flo and Larry and Andre the Giant, you can park your Bentley here while you're gone.
and the Porsche.
And the Porsche, you can park. You can leave them parked here. We'll Uber you down to the airport for your private Vincente jet. And does that sound all right, Flo?
That sounds great. I just want to show everybody before we close, man. That's a regular box.
Yeah.
So Andre, go ahead and get your Vanna White on and show them what a regular box look like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a regular box. So anybody else haven't got cigars, that's a regular box. Vince really put a lot of time and effort and money. You know what I mean? We got the Bentley. We got the Bentley to this. Look at this, along with diamond rings and
gorgeous.
13 lacquer finishes.
Nice and simple, direct.
It has diamonds and pearls in that joint.
Beautiful.
Straight Kappa box. I love it. I absolutely love
This
it.
box would go well in the penthouse.
You ever model? And have you ever been a model before? Okay, all right. I was just making sure. Often?
How to hand model with those fingers.
Ooh. I don't know what he said.
I gotta go.
Okay.
Yeah, just push it in.
Push the button.
Push the button. That's what I'm saying. Push button. Push button
I
start.
got model
Push
this one
button.
too.
You know what I mean? Showing
He's
everybody.
getting into it now.
Listen, he is locked in. Well, we're definitely going to have you back here at Goose's Lounge, and we're also going to have you at Light It Up. Shout out to all the cigar smokers out there. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together again for my man Vince. Make sure you go to his website, and you can also hit him up right now. He's coming to a store near you. It's been a great show, a great time. We'll see you guys on the other side. Again, it's the Undefeated GOAT Cigar Talk with my man Goose. Shout out to Vince. We'll see you on the other side. Get your cigars right now. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Yeah, ha, hi.